Hi everyone, I'm Kim Monning, and I'd like to welcome you to today's special broadcast with trading expert Jeff Clark. For the past 36 years, Jeff's shown people from all walks of life how to make money in the markets. Retired stockbrokers, presidents of companies, people with almost no financial experience, and everything in between. But he hasn't done it the usual way. His method is different, unlike anything you've probably ever seen before. And today, he's agreed to come forward and shine some light on his unique approach. Jeff, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure, Kim. Thanks for having me.
Well, Jeff, when most folks think about making money through the markets, they think buy and hold, they think diversification, and they think about investing in things like index funds. But you have a different approach.
Yeah, that's right. I call it the three-stock retirement blueprint. You see, it's a way to play three stocks, and really just three stocks, and potentially make more money than you would by trading all the rest of them, or by using any sort of old-fashioned approach.
Okay, now Jeff, I'm sure those watching at home are thinking, this sounds impossible. I mean, just three stocks, really?
No, I know, but I've been told that before, and I've been using this strategy for years. Now, of all the different trading methods that I've seen in my career, it's the one that I use with my own money.
Well, it certainly worked out well for you. I mean, thanks in large part to this type of approach, you live a great life, right? You live in a beautiful estate overlooking Silicon Valley. Your neighbors have included NBA players, former big league ball players, and billionaire tech CEOs. And what I'm especially jealous of, Jeff, you get to live life on your own terms. So if you wanted to, you really could call it quits today and never lift a finger again. But you seem to really enjoy your work and you enjoy helping people. It seems like a pretty great life.
Well, it is. I mean, I'm absolutely living the good life, and I love what I do. But the fact is, just about anybody can learn how to do this. It's not the kind of thing that takes years and years to figure out. Now, obviously, it does take some effort, but the strategy doesn't work on autopilot. The nice thing is, though, you don't have to have a background in finance. You don't have to follow the markets religiously, and you certainly don't need to be rich already. You know, this is designed to potentially help even those who have very little investing experience.
That's pretty reassuring. And as I understand it, tens of thousands of everyday folks across the country have already taken the first step.
Well, that's right. I went public with this strategy back in 2019, and already over 100,000 people have made the leap. And they've said, yes, I want to see how your three-stock retirement blueprint works. And I hear from them almost every day. They've had the chance to see double and triple digit gains over and over again, sometimes in a matter of days or just a few weeks.
That's really incredible. And I should mention, if you would like to check any of our data, please visit our details and disclosures page. You can find the link at the bottom of this page, and you can access Jeff's entire track record there. And I have some comments from those following your work. After joining you, David B. wrote, Jeff, I have been with you only 6 weeks, but your intuition, advice, and personable messages are downright awesome. And Ray D says, your material is the first thing I read every day the market is open. I can't thank you enough for the insights you provide. And there's so many more just like this.
Well, obviously, I can't guarantee that you're going to have the exact same experience, but this is not as complicated as you might think. You know, I believe this blueprint is the best way to see massive gains no matter what's happening in the overall market. You just have to be willing to try something a little bit new.
All right, well, folks, today you're going to get all the details. Over the next few minutes, Jeff will show you how his strategy works, and he's going to show you his track record. And he'll even give you the names and tickers of the three stocks you'll need to get started.
Yeah, that's right. Now, the names are probably going to surprise you. You know, they're ones that you're probably not familiar with. And if you choose to get on these recommendations, you could start making money in the very near future.
And that sounds like a great plan. Let's get right into it, Jeff. How does your blueprint work?
Okay, the blueprint is designed to get your retirement on the fast track. See, the goal here is not to follow the market or to see a measly 3 to 5% gain per year, and that's why I do things a little bit differently. To start, my strategy involves options. Okay, now, understand, there's a lot of misconceptions about options, but there's one thing that everybody agrees on. Options have the potential to deliver bigger gains faster than stocks. Now, obviously, it doesn't always happen that way, but that's what they're designed for. So with a single trade, you could make 3 times or 5 times or maybe even 10 times more than you would if you simply invested in the underlying stock. Now, to me, that makes them the perfect vehicle for folks that are at or near retirement age. In percentage terms, you can capture 10 years worth of gains in very little time.
Really? 10 years worth of gains?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, back in April of 2020, I recommended a trade with one of my 3 stocks. And over the next 6 days, just 6 days, the stock jumped about 8%. And that's a pretty good move for a stock.
I was going to say, I'd take that.
Yeah, right. Now, that's huge for a stock. But the option moved 86%. That's 10 times more.
Wait, is that over the same time period?
Yeah, same time period. Now here's another example. In February of 2020, I recommended another trade with one of my 3 stocks. And this time, over the next 8 days, the underlying stock moved 12%.
Another very big move.
Right. But this time, the option moved 273%. That's more than 22 times more than what the stock did. Now, do you know how long it normally takes for somebody to make 273% in the market?
I don't. How long?
Well, using the market's long-term average, about 18 years.
18 years.
That's right, nearly 2 decades. But with my approach, you could have done that in just 8 days. Now, obviously, options carry more risk than following the market. You wouldn't want to put your entire nest egg into just one trade. But that's the point. You don't have to. See, even with a small investment, you can potentially see a massive gain, much bigger than you could doing things the old-fashioned way.
Okay, and why is that, Jeff? I mean, what makes options so powerful?
Well, it's because options give you what's known as leverage. See, for every 1-point move in a stock, an options play could make you 5 to 10 times more money, or sometimes even more than that, as you just saw. Now, all it takes is the underlying stock to move a few dollars in either direction for the options trader to make a huge windfall. And in some cases, even if the stock just moves 50 cents, I mean, it can translate into a 1,000% plus gain for the options holder. I mean, that's incredible. Again, I'm not saying that this is guaranteed, right? The point here is to illustrate some of the advantages of options. And I don't know of many other ways to potentially make that kind of money that quickly. And with my 3-stock retirement blueprint, I've tried to make it as easy as possible. All you have to do is focus on 3 stocks. You can trade options on these 3 plays over and over again.
Okay, so now to show exactly how this is done, you brought along a video. So let's go ahead and pull that up and tell us, what are we looking at here, Jeff?
All right, this is a trading demonstration performed by a member of my team. It was recorded live. Now, before the video, he did his research on the stock, and now he's executing the trade. So as you can see, he makes a few clicks, and that's it, he's done. I mean, that's all there is to it. And what was that, 10 seconds?
I mean, if that, not long at all.
And that's all it takes to place a trade. Now think about what this means. Think about what it would be like to make 2, 3, 4 times your money from a single transaction like this. I mean, you could completely forget about 99% of the securities. You'd never have to watch CNBC again. No more scouring the internet looking for the next hot sector. I mean, this simple maneuver could be all you need.
Less time at the computer, more time for life. Well, obviously, that would be great, Jeff. Who wouldn't want the chance to make money from a 10-second transaction? But still, is it really possible to generate gains this way?
Absolutely. Not only is it possible, I've done it. I've been trading options since I was 18 years old. And in fact, for 20 years, I owned and ran an options trading money management firm. The account minimum was $250,000 in investable assets. Many of my clients had at least $1 million, and it was one of the only firms of its kind as far as I know. You see, much like today, the so-called experts didn't believe that you could use options to build serious wealth. They dismissed them as a form of legalized gambling, and that's how they thought of it. Buy and hold was the only acceptable way to build a nest egg. But even as a young trader, I kind of knew they were wrong. I mean, the math just didn't make sense.
How so?
Well, you can see for yourself. For the past 2 decades, the market has averaged around 4.5% returns per year. And at that rate, it would take you 55 years to grow your wealth by 1,000%. That's 55 years.
Wow, that long? I mean, maybe that works if you're 20, but if you're already at or near retirement age, that's just not going to cut it.
No, it's not. But with options, you could theoretically make a 1,000% gain in a matter of months. So what I decided to do was build my money management firm around options. And I'm glad I did. You see, I manage money for widows, Silicon Valley executives, and everything else in between. And some folks gave me $10 million to manage, some a little bit more than that. My firm grew to the point where I was managing well over $200 million. And in fact, a couple of firms offered me jobs so that I'd share my secret with them. And that includes one of the country's largest market-making firms. They offered me a $5 million bankroll to trade with, and I politely declined.
Oh.
So I still have a letter from one of my former clients, president of a corporation, endorsing me.
Yeah, and we have part of it here. I mean, he said no matter whether the stock is moving up or down, Jeff somehow manages to find a strategy that works. Overall, I could not be happier with his performance. What a compliment.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it was a great experience. Things worked out so well that I was able to walk away from money management at just 42 years old, but I wasn't really ready to call it quits in my career. I started sharing my options ideas directly with everyday investors through a few different high-end research services. And eventually, in 2019, I launched my very first introductory options trading service called Jeff Clark Trader. Now, the common thread through all of these endeavors is showing folks how to make money with options.
All right, and the whole time, I mean, you were just using your 3-stock blueprint?
Well, no. Here's what happened. For the first part of my career, I traded a wide range of stocks. I mean, everything, large cap, small cap, blue chips, growth stocks. I mean, you name it, I traded it. And for the most part, this worked out pretty well. I was able to make a good living from the get-go. I ran a multi-million-dollar money management firm, and I helped a lot of folks become wealthy. But after a while, I kind of had a breakthrough. I discovered that I only needed to focus on a few stocks at a time. I didn't have to worry about every different sector, every different market, or every different security. All I had to do was figure out which stocks were offering the best setups, and then I trade them over and over again.
Okay, so in other words, you'd find a group of stocks and trade them. Then when the market changed, you would find a new group of stocks and trade them. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. This was my big breakthrough. It continues to be one of my biggest secrets to my success. And I've shown those folks following my work how to make money over and over again using this exact same kind of approach.
It's so unique. Can you show us some examples? I mean, we want to see this in action.
Sure. Let's jump back to 2017. Now that year, in both my weekly trading service and in my blog, I zeroed in on GDX. Now that's a gold mining fund. GDX is one of my favorite stocks to trade. I mean, it tracks a basket of gold miners and it moves in big, relatively predictable patterns. And I recommended GDX 12 times that year, and every single trade was a winner.
Wow, really? Every one?
Every one. They delivered gains like 5% in one day, 25% in 22 days, and even a 142% gain in 19 days.
Oh, I like that. What was the average holding period?
It wasn't long. It was maybe around a month or so. And you didn't have to wait a long time to lock in those gains. Now imagine what these trades could have done to your nest egg. Now let's say you set aside just $1,000 for each one of them. Over and over again, you could have made $53, $283, $385, even $1,421, and a whole lot more, and sometimes in just a matter of hours. Now, it's very hard to make that kind of money that quickly any other way.
That's so true. And what was the process? I mean, did you make those trades all at once, or were they spread out throughout the year?
Well, they were spread out. And typically, I can find opportunities every month, and that's one of the things that I love about this approach. See, you don't have to go long stretches where you're out of the market. And no matter what's happening in the broader market, you can get in, make your money, and then move on to the next one. All it takes is a simple 10-second trade each time.
And now that year, did you focus exclusively on this one stock, or did you recommend others too?
Oh, I had some others too. For example, that year I saw a big opportunity in the retail sector. And this is another sector that tends to move in big, relatively predictable patterns. And in my weekly research service, the Delta Report, I zeroed in on Target and Macy's. And all throughout the year, I switched back and forth between the two. And once again, it worked out pretty much exactly as I hoped. I recommended these stocks 8 times, and every single one was a winner.
Again, every single one. I mean, does this always happen?
No. I mean, it's rare that I get every one right. Okay, so don't expect those kind of results. But it happened in this case. And they delivered gains like 13% in 6 days, 28% in a little less than a month, and even a 139% gain in 4 days. Now, those following my work had a chance to take advantage of all of those trades.
Okay, but what about since 2017? I mean, do you have some more recent examples?
Well, sure. Jump forward to 2018. I had an 8-month stretch where I targeted SPY.
Did you say SPY?
Yeah. That's an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. And it had an especially volatile year in 2018. And that's what made it a perfect target for my strategy. And I went 9 for 10 on trades with SPY. And they had gains like 21% in one day. I think we made 64% in 6 days, and then 66% in 6 days. By comparison, if you'd simply invested in SPY the regular way for those 8 months, you'd have made a measly 3%. Now, I did as much as 22 times better in just 6 days. Now, again, this is an exceptional example. It's rare to go 9 out of 10 trading a stock. But are you starting to see why I'm so passionate about the 3-stock blueprint? I mean, are you starting to see how powerful this approach can be?
Well, Jeff, even if these are exceptional examples, I mean, there's no denying that your overall results are really impressive. You've clearly figured something out here.
Well, the fact is, Kim, when you trade the same stock over and over again, like I recommend doing, your odds of success have the potential to go way up.
So tell us, why is that? What's the advantage of trading the same stocks over and over again?
Well, you start to understand how the stock moves. I mean, you detect little patterns that you wouldn't otherwise see. I mean, look, bond king Bill Gross became a billionaire just by trading bonds. Warren Buffett became a billionaire by keeping a small portfolio of the best stocks. And to this day, over half of Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio is still centralized in just 4 stocks. This is the best way I know of to make money as a trader. See, instead of wasting your time chasing securities that you don't know anything about, you have the chance to deploy your funds in a smart, targeted fashion. Now just look at what happened in 2019. See, this is the year that I launched my introductory research service called Jeff Clark Trader, and that was built around this strategy. I recommended 4 trades on a stock called Applied Optoelectronics, and I went 4 for 4. And the smallest gain on that stock was 28% in just a little bit over a month. And the biggest gain was 122% in 6 days. Now think about that 122% gain for a second. Think about how long it can take to make that kind of percentage gain with a buy and hold approach. And if you're following the market, it could take you over a decade. My subscribers could have done that in less than a week. Now that same year, with another stock I recommended, you could have made as much as 100% in 10 days and 269% in less than a month. In 2020, it was more of the same. With one of my stocks, XLF, I went 4 for 5. The biggest gain was 127% in just 8 days. As with my other stocks, I delivered these gains like 62% in 4 days, 127% in 9 days, and even a 273% gain in 8 days. Now, I can go on, but I'm guessing you get the idea.
Oh, we definitely do. And I should mention, if you'd like to see Jeff's complete track record, you can visit the disclosures page. It's linked at the bottom of the page. And everything is sourced there. But Jeff, seeing all of these streaks, I can see why you've acquired a global audience. I mean, you've clearly struck a chord with the investment community. You have subscribers in all 50 states and dozens of countries across the world. Your approach definitely seems to be getting some serious attention.
Well, look. This is so much better than trying to navigate all the thousands of stocks in the market. No more spending hours every day glued to your computer. No more chasing every hot stock that talking heads on CNBC are screaming about. All you have to do is find the small handful of stocks offering the best setups and then apply my techniques. And that's it. I believe you have the potential to make money month after month in bull markets, bear markets, and any other sort of market that exists.
And this is really a good time to discuss your 3 stock recommendations, Jeff. We promised that you would give their names, so let's go ahead and hear them.
Okay, here's the names of my top 3 stocks right now. The first is the VanEck Vectors Gold Miners ETF, and the symbol there is GDX. Next is the Financial Select Sector Spider Fund. It's XLF is the symbol for that one. And then there's the Technology Select Sector Spider Fund, which is XLK. Now, you've already seen how powerful GDX can be. I've recommended it repeatedly over the years. And those following my recommendations have had the chance to make thousands of dollars. And right now you can learn how to use it too. Plus, I predict my other 2 picks are going to be just as profitable. See, very few people know about them. But just like GDX, I think they're perfect for today's market.
Now, you touched on XLF, and you had a great run with it in 2020. As much as 127% gains in 8 days?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we were just getting started. See, going forward, I believe you could have several opportunities every month to make $500, $1,000, $5,000, maybe even more depending on your situation.
We love the sound of that. To that end, you've created a special report that everyone joining us today can claim. Tell us about that.
Well, it's called the 3-Stock Retirement Blueprint. And this report is going to show you everything that you need to know to get started. I've never seen another approach like it. And as far as I know, it's the only one of its kind. No other expert I know of offers a way to potentially make huge gains over and over again using the exact same stocks.
And just to be clear, this guide is not available on Amazon or anywhere else on the web. The only way you can get it is through the special offer Jeff's giving you today. So what is in the report?
All right. In the report, I give you a full breakdown of each stock. Now, I've had over 5,000 stocks to choose from, but I chose these 3 for very specific reasons. You'll see why I believe they can make you the most money in today's market. Then I'll show you exactly how to trade options on each one. And don't worry, I'm going to explain everything in great detail. Now, finally, I also show you how to combine these stocks to potentially see some extraordinary gains.
And how quickly could folks start profiting?
Well, that depends on the individual. Some may pick it up right away, and others it may take a little bit more practice. The hardest part is finding the stock, which I've done for you. But still, it's always smart to do your own due diligence, of course. The point is, exactly how much you can make is entirely up to you. But I'm proud to say that those who've been following this approach already have had the chance to make some sizable gains. Now just remember, there's no need to risk a whole lot of money with these plays. $1,000 or even just a few $100s is enough to get you started. And you'll get a full breakdown in my guide, the 3-Stock Blueprint.
But that's just the start. I've looked through your report, and it has some bonus material that could be a big help for folks. For example, you discuss the trading secrets you've refused to share with Wall Street.
Well, that's right. I've had, maybe more than a dozen investment banks and financial firms, including Merrill Lynch, contact me about my trading strategies. And after hearing about a few of my larger wins, they wanted to find out how I was making more money than their best guys. And in late October 2008, during one of my hot streaks, CNBC heard of the money my readers were making and wanted to get me to talk about my secrets on live TV. And I turned them all down. In this guide, I reveal some of the best ones.
And you also discuss the secret behind making really exceptional gains. I'm talking several 100% or more. You've done that multiple times in your service, right?
Well, I have. I mean, you see, it's one thing to make 25% or 50%. It's another thing to make 200%, 250%, or even more than that. And I've devised a way that you can shoot for these extraordinary gains while also limiting the amount of money that you can lose. And I explain the approach in the report.
And you even show how to potentially profit during a market crash.
Well, that's right. See, when you learn how to start trading like I do, you're not going to be afraid of market crashes anymore. In fact, you'll look forward to them. You know, during the 2008 market crash, I had a series of big winners. And the same thing happened during the meltdown back in 2020. And I'll explain how I did it.
Well, you know, I saw some of your results during the 2020 crash. You had some terrific calls during a pretty tumultuous time. In your Delta Direct Research Service, which is basically a blog where you also make recommendations, you guided your readers through the entire crash, all through the decline. You said it was a buying opportunity. And on March 18th, just 3 trading days before the bottom, you said we could see a 20% pop from here. That was a nearly perfect call. What's more, in January, February, and March, you went 5 for 5 recommending a fund that tracks the NASDAQ, QQQ. Not a single loser. Unbelievable, Jeff.
Well, thanks, Kim. I appreciate that. But look, like everyone else, I never expected a virus to trigger a global pandemic and then send the market plummeting 34%. But fortunately, I've been trading crashes going all the way back to the 1987 crash. So I was able to help my readers through everything.
Suffice it to say, folks, if we see more turbulence in the near future, you're going to want Jeff in your corner. You're going to get his secrets in the report. Plus, Jeff also discusses the 4 days a year when you can make the most money as a trader, why you shouldn't invest money you can't afford to lose, and how to manage the inherent risks that come with options, and even how to turn a losing trade into a winner. Wait a minute, how does that work, Jeff?
Okay, let me explain this. With most of my recommendations, your risk is going to be limited to the amount of money that you pay for the option. But for a small percentage of the trades that I recommend, if the trade goes against you, sometimes you're put the stock, meaning that you have to buy 100 shares of the underlying stock. Now, for some folks, this might seem like a bad thing, but oftentimes, if you know what you're doing, these kind of trades can still end up being profitable.
So in other words, with your approach, even some losing trades could end up as winners?
Well, exactly. Now, I know it sounds too good to be true, but I explain everything in the report, along with a whole lot of other things.
And this is all yours as part of today's special offer. Plus, you'll also get Jeff's video training series.
Oh, that's right. See, I love teaching. I was hired by California University to teach options trading and securities pricing to MBA students. And I eventually became the dean of the business school, and I was the youngest dean in the school's history by about 20 years. And on top of that, when I ran my options trading firm, I trained over 1,000 people to become licensed stockbrokers. And a number of them wound up at firms like Merrill Lynch or Payne Webber. Now, some of these folks paid thousands of dollars to hear my instruction. But today, through the video series that my team and I created, you can get the same kind of education for no additional cost.
Wow, and what kind of training is in the videos?
Well, think of the videos as a chance to kind of look over my shoulder as I show you the way that I trade options. The first few videos cover the basics, like how to get started, the different types of options trades, that kind of stuff. Then, as the series progresses, I go a little bit deeper. I show you the things that you need to know to find great trading opportunities on your own.
So in other words, the video series is a complete overview of your trading approach.
Exactly. It's designed to give folks all the tools that you're going to need to learn how to become a successful trader in their own right. And I explain everything you need to know. And like I said, you don't need to be a finance whiz to trade options. You know, you can just access them through just about any brokerage account. And if you have a brokerage account already, it's really simple to get approved. And in most cases, all you have to do is fill out a one-page form.
So easy, very good. Okay, so between the special report and this video training series, you're offering really an incredible collection of resources. But there's one more thing you haven't mentioned, Jeff. You've saved your best bonus for last, and I think this is a pretty good time to tell everybody about it.
Sure. See, I know what I'm telling you is probably new. And if you're like most people, you've been told that options are hard, you've been told that you're not cut out for them, that you should leave them to the so-called experts and be content to just follow the market. And I'm telling you, nothing could be further from the truth. You can do this, and I want to prove it to you. So to that end, I recently launched a monthly research trading service called Jeff Clark Trader. And right now, we're offering a special discount to anyone who joins today.
And Jeff, this service is really unlike any other membership. I got to tell you, we've looked around and we can't find any other service exactly like this one. So explain how it works.
Every month, I show you how to use my 3-stock retirement blueprint for the chance to see extraordinary gains for retirement. I'll give you my latest trading ideas along with my full analysis and research. And as needed, I'll send you updates on the trade recommendations throughout the month. See, the aim here is to help you learn how to get maximum gains out of my top 3 picks. Now, obviously, past performance doesn't guarantee future returns, and obviously there's no such thing as a risk-free investment, and that includes my strategy, but I stand by it.
Well, remember too that Jeff's built his personal portfolio around this kind of targeted approach. He obviously doesn't trade the same stocks he recommends in the service, but he believes so strongly in the strategy that he's put his own money behind it. There's no better endorsement than that.
It's my favorite way to trade, and it's by far the best way to potentially see some amazing gains.
Now, as we mentioned, Jeff Clark Trader has attracted a global audience. Tens of thousands of people from all walks of life have joined since Jeff opened the doors. Many of them have sent in glowing praise. Michael C. wrote, "I was a broker at a major warehouse for nearly 50 years. I want to compliment Jeff Clark for having a readable, great service." Patrick W. says, "Jeff, thanks. I joined and wasn't disappointed. You clearly explain options better than I have ever had it explained. You are clearly an expert at what you do, but yet humble, and I really liked your training videos. Your advice is clearly not fake, get-rich-quick stuff, but sensible, financially sound advice." And Dave W. wrote, "Hi, Jeff, what a week. Your guidance through this volatility is fantastic. I had my best week yet trading with you." Like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. More folks are joining every day. What's more, right now, people are paying thousands of dollars to access his more advanced research. However, when you join Jeff today, you won't pay thousands. You've put together a special deal for today's viewers. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Yes. See, the retail price for a 12-month subscription to Jeff Clark Trader is $199. But I've arranged for you to pay a small fraction of that.
Okay, why so cheap, Jeff?
Well, look, I know what it's like to struggle financially. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. You know, my dad and his dad before him were farmers. And over the years, I've helped a lot of rich people get even richer. But I can tell you this, it's a lot more satisfying to show everyday people how to grow their wealth. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish today. So I've made this blueprint as inexpensive as possible.
That is a real deal. I hope you realize how cheap this is, folks. Remember, Jeff's managed accounts worth over $10 million. He's trained over 1,000 people to become stockbrokers. He's given everyday folks the chance to make some of the biggest gains of their lives. And most importantly, he's developed a 3-stock blueprint that anybody can start using immediately. To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Here's a recap of everything you'll get when you join. 1 full year of Jeff Clark Trader. As a new subscriber, you'll receive Jeff's latest set of recommendations and research immediately. Then around the 4th Monday of the month, you'll receive his next series of recommendations.
That's right. Now keep in mind, my goal here is to find the best, lowest risk trade opportunities. Now these don't always happen according to a schedule. So the recommendations may not always come out on that exact day. They may come a day or two before, or maybe a little bit after. But either way, the goal of each recommendation is to give you a chance at a windfall.
You'll also get Special Report, the 3-stock retirement blueprint. Like I said, this guide is not available anywhere else. The only way you can get it is through this special offer. Plus, you will also get Jeff's video training series. There's only one catch. This deal may not be available for long.
Well, that's right. See, I believe in my 3-stock blueprint 100%. It's important to me personally to show as many folks as I can how to start using it. And that's why we've done everything possible to make price a non-issue. But we can only do this for a limited time. In the future, the price could be a whole lot higher. So if you want to lock in this low rate, we need to hear from you right away.
Of course, you're 100% protected by Jeff's 60-day money-back guarantee. How does that work, Jeff?
Well, it's really simple. I'm happy to say that most of my subscribers love my research, and I get positive feedback all the time. But if for some reason it's not for you, that's okay. Just call our customer service team within the next 60 days, and they'll give you a full refund. And to make it even more fair than fair, I'll let you keep my blueprint. No questions asked. In other words, the risk is all mine.
Doesn't get more fair than that, folks. Okay, that's all the time we have, and I want to thank Jeff Clark for joining us today, and I want to thank all of you watching at home for joining us as well. If you're ready to get started with Jeff, just click the button on your screen. You'll be taken to a secure order form, and within minutes, you'll be able to access all of Jeff's latest research and recommendations. For Jeff Clark, I'm Kim Monning saying so long.